Hello, 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 family. This is Nick and Mike, Military Brothers Talking Sports. And today's episode, family, we're going to be talking about Phillip Rivers. As you guys know, he just announced his retirement. We're going to be talking about, the top, five shooting guards on the East and West. Karl Malone comments towards Zion Williams. And more importantly, we're going to definitely be talking about the presidential inauguration. We'll lay
Yes.
for the end. So as you know, today, Biden got sworn in. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Tune in. We'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. Hello. Welcome back to the show. That's kind of funky, intro. I love that intro, man. It's kind of hot.
What's going on?
Yeah, welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you guys coming to the Nick and Mike show. I'm Nick.
Mike, what's up?
Yeah, we're Military Brothers, just talking sports, family. We definitely want to engage you guys. Welcome, you guys, to our show. It's an hour-long show, but we just talk about sports, have a nice conversation about, the hot sport topics and stuff like that today. So, Mike, man, how was your day today, my brother?
Well, it was January 20th, and I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Been waiting 4 years. I think it's a glorious day. Glorious day. I feel good, relieved, refreshed, cleansing. I feel like I'm walking on Mecca. Yes, I feel wonderful inside.
Oh my goodness. I can understand that. But hey, I had a great day today. Great day today, of course, inauguration, but I worked from home today. But hey, can't complain. But hey, man, let's get the show started, man. The first thing we're going to talk about, Phillip Rivers calls it quit. He calls it quit after 17 years of playing football. He's ranking the top 5 as far as passing yards as well as touchdown.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at his career, good, bad, whatever. Some people view him as a Hall of Famer. Some people view him as a first ballot. Some people don't view him as a first ballot. But most people do view him as a Hall of Famer. So I want to know your thoughts on Phillip Rivers' career.
Well, not to dampen his career, but let's not forget that Phillip Rivers was switched out for Eli Manning for the Giants. Don't know if anybody know that or not. A little trivia. Yes. So, but I'm going to respect Phillip and what he's done for 17 years. The G-Men thanks him also. Chargers legend. I should have worn my Chargers jacket today that I got on sale many years ago, just to give it up to him. When you put that length of time in, you have to be respected. I do believe he's a Hall of Famer just from his Chargers numbers. I know he ended with the Colts, and my hat is off. 17 years is a long time to be in the NFL, taking hits, icing your body up, getting ready for the next season. And for him just to say, you know what, it's been a good run, I'm going to shut it down. So my hat is off to Phillip Rivers. And now he can take care of his many children.
Yeah. And out in California, a lot of those guys, man, go to California, and California is a beautiful place to be. I know he did not want to actually, when they transitioned out of San Diego and they moved to, I think, Los Angeles Chargers now, he didn't want them to actually move because he's been there all of his career.
Yeah.
Rivers was the reason why the Chargers did not sign Drew Brees back. That's another key stat. Some people know it, some people don't.
Okay.
Saw him as someone who could actually replace Drew Brees. He had a phenomenal career. I really believe he had a phenomenal career. Even this year, he did not play bad this year.
Right.
Still was throwing the ball down the field, but I think he felt like he doesn't have anything else to prove. He's accomplished a lot. But I believe, based on how talented Phillip Rivers was, but this also goes to show you the value of having an organization that that can really put the right pieces around a leader to get you a championship. To me, I believe Phillip Rivers is just as talented as Eli, just as talented as Ben Roethlisberger. He was in the same draft class, but out of those three quarterbacks, he is the only one who doesn't have at least a ring. But
Right.
I believe he was just as talented as those guys. But I think Eli and Ben are with an organization that did a great job in putting the right pieces around him to make sure he was successful. So to me, that is the only reason why he didn't win the championship with the Chargers. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, known for great defense. Even the Giants was known for having a pretty good defense when Rivers actually won the championship. They had great pieces around them. But it's like when it came to the Chargers, he could get them in the playoffs, but it was always a couple of pieces that were missing at
Right.
all times. So to me, I believe the organization really hindered him and prevented him from winning the championship.
Well, 16 years is a long time. And you're absolutely right. I mean, he never even played in a Super Bowl. So, he doesn't even know what it tastes like, but he is in elite company, fifth, as you said, with the passing yards, only behind Brady, Brees, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre. And that's not bad at all. Not bad company, 8-time Pro Bowler, you know, that says a lot. And actually today, he announced it, but today is his official retirement date, for those who didn't know. And it's also a Roman Catholic Church feast day, which is referred to as a patron saint for athletes. So he retired on a day that he's supposed to relax anyway. So kudos to him. And, I made a little pun earlier, but Phillip Rivers does have multiple children, him and his wife. It's at least 7 or 8. It could be more.
I think he has 6 kids and whatnot. So, and that's the reason why he did not want to actually move to LA. And he
Right.
even said it is because his family was in San Diego, even though he signed with the Colts this past year.
Right.
Signed with them, and I think because of the fact that he was missing his family is the reason why he made the decision. Like, hey, you know what? I'd rather spend time with my family. I'm quite sure he has a lot of things set up to where he will enjoy an amazing career after the NFL. But like I said, my hat's off to Phillip Rivers. And be honest with you, man, if I had to choose between the two, it's only because Ben Roethlisberger has championship. But believe it or not, man, I believe Phillip Rivers was a better quarterback. But it's because being in the right organization will determine if you actually win a championship or not. Prime example, you can look at Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is just as talented as any other quarterback in the league. But because he's with the Detroit Lions and they fail to, bring in a crew that will cause them to be, a winner or actually do some things that will cause them to have an opportunity to win a championship, your organization play a key role in you getting a chip or not. And to me,
Right.
what has hindered Phillip Rivers from actually winning the championship.
Yeah, you mentioned Matt Stafford. Phillip is just as tough. I remember about 13 years ago, torn ACL. But I give it to him, man. Tough dude. Sad that in 16 years he wasn't surrounded with an adequate staff. Football is an investment. You don't just go out there and play. You want to surround your stars with people who can get the job done. And I think he made it as far as might have been the AFC Championship, but that was it. And I think that's when he got hurt. Playing against took a loss to New England. So he has a lot to look back on and cherish, man. I don't think his head should be held down for anything, man. He's done well.
Right. For those guys who are tuning in, this is, I'm Nick. That's my boy Mike. This is Military Brothers Just Talking Sports. We want you guys to subscribe to our page. We want to make sure you guys follow us. We're going to be putting the information out. You definitely chime in. We'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. Right now, we're talking about Phillip Rivers calling it quits after 17 years. playing in the league, he decided that, hey, now it's time for me to ride off in the sunset. And to me, he did it the right way. To me,
Right.
it's like he said, hey, man, I have nothing else to prove.
Yeah.
I have won a championship, but I have nothing else to prove. I'm glad he isn't one of those quarterbacks who's still trying to hang on when you can clearly see that you're on the back end of a career.
Right. He's
Unlike
39 years old.
unlike the quarterback that's in Pittsburgh right now, who call it quits, as you can see.
I
Um,
want Alex Smith to shut it down too.
yeah, and to me,
Yeah.
yeah,
Only because of his injury, man. Dude, you're tough as nails. We got you. Don't
but
want one of them big boys to get on top of you and shatter that leg any more than is already hurt.
but my thing is, Alex Smith is the reason why the Washington Redskins actually, excuse me, the
Washington
football team
football team.
actually made it as far as
Yeah.
they made. So Alex Smith, when he came in the game, he was productive. So I'm not going to say
Yeah.
Alex Smith is washed up. He's
No,
still.
no, no, no. I didn't say washed up. I just don't want that leg to sustain an injury that he can't come back from.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. Sometimes, you just got to shut it down because of health reasons, health concerns.
I can understand that. Well, my thing is that I just love the fact that he just understood that, hey, you know what, my career has really run a course that I'm
Yeah.
proud of. And he was not forced out the door. Prime
Right.
example. I believe this is definitely should be Drew Brees last year.
Mhm.
Unlike Tom Brady, who's still getting the job done. Tom's like, hey,
43? He's 43?
Tom's like,
Brady is 43.
he's trying to go to he's 45. And
Ooh.
look, but dude, numbers don't lie. Tom is still getting the job done.
Yeah.
And the thing I can say that they've done in Tampa and what they've done doing for even Drew Brees, if you surround them with a good running game, a solid offensive line,
Yeah.
and wide receivers that can get open, and if you still got the arm strength to throw the ball downfield, your career can actually go, you can still have a nice career in the NFL. And then when he was with the coach really started establishing a nice run game. The defense was playing very well, and they barely lost in the first playoff game against, I think Buffalo, who they actually lost against. So my thing is that in understanding that, they still played a solid game, and it was still productive.
Hey, you said it all, man. If you surround somebody with the pieces that they need, they can get it done. I can attest to my G-men. You put the right people around Eli, Justin Tuck, Manningham, et cetera, et cetera. So, okay, let's get it done. Let's see what we can do. I want to throw one athlete out there that you can probably remember because of an injury. He had to shut it down early. Brandon Roy.
Correct.
Portland Trailblazers. 24, 26 years old.
Yeah, very young because of that injury.
Tried it. And one more hit, brother, you might not be walking again. So what a tough decision to make. Awesome dude. But hey. You gotta take care of your body, man.
I got you. So now we're going to transition, man, to the next thing we're talking about. As we said, we're going to have a conversation. We're going to talk about, ranking the top 5, players at their position. Yesterday we talked about point guards. Today we're going to move on to the shooting guards. You can start, Mike. Who do you have as your top 5 shooting guards in the East? Only in the East. Let's start with the East.
Well, you know what? I'm going to steal 2 from yesterday. I just like guys that can get it done. You brought to my attention to put their bona fide points. So I'm going to go with Jaylen Brown, Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine. His stats are incredible. Check that brother out, man. And he can fly too. Got to go with Harden. I'll use him. That's 3 I'm using. And I'm going to pull a sleeper out because I like what he did with the Heat. Going with Duncan Robinson.
Okay. So how
Yeah.
would you rank them? How would who's your number one guy? Who's number one?
Okay. First I'm gonna have to go with Harden.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Brown. I just like his work.
Jaylen Brown with Boston. Okay.
Yeah. I'll slide Beal in there, snubbed from the All-Star game last year.
Bill 3.
Zach and
Zach.
Duncan. And let it be known that I like to pick guys who work. I don't necessarily pick the one with the best stats, from top to bottom. I observe the game. I like what they bring to the game. I watch them in crunch time situations, and I just go from there. I got a sleeper. Let me put somebody in reserve if I can.
Now you put him in reserve.
Yeah. Going with Marcus Smart.
Okay.
And because the reason why I'm going with him is because I've been watching him since college. I like how he has improved every single year since he's been in the NBA, man. Very dangerous brother to leave open. And everybody knows I'm not really a Celtics fan. I have childhood nightmares, but there are some players that I appreciate, and I'm going to give them the just due.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my top five. One, I would agree with you that Harden is definitely the top shooting guard in definitely the East. Two, Bradley Beal is my number 2. Bradley Beal is a phenomenal player, phenomenal shooter. 3, I actually went with Zach LaVine. I agree with you, LaVine with Chicago. I just think that he has a coach down there. I love the fact that they have man who left OKC and now Donovan. He's actually with them with Chicago. So to me, I'm interested to see how he's going to gel those guys together. But Zach LaVine, he definitely is a guy that can put the biscuit in the basket.
Yes.
Number 4, actually Drew Holiday.
Okay.
Drew Holiday is playing actually shooting guard. We were playing shooting guard with the Pelicans. He's actually a shooting guard. Holiday is a 3D. He plays defense. He's giving you scoring, and he's definitely a dependable shooter. So I will take Holiday as my number 4 and partner with Orlando. The shooting guard down there. The guy, he's actually putting up close to 20 points a game. Give
me that last one again.
Fauner, Fournier with Orlando.
Okay.
When I was looking at stats and looking at it, I was like, wow. And I was pulling some things up. He is an up-and-coming player that a lot of people don't know about. I know a lot of people know about the center that's with Orlando, but he's actually second leading scorer on their team. But I know with the point guard having torn his ACL this year, that's really going to hurt Orlando. But they have Cole Anthony starting right now.
Yeah.
So
I like him.
Yeah, but you have to really keep your eye on that guy. He's a great player. I wouldn't say he's a great player, but he's an up and coming player that you actually need to keep your eye on. So that was my top 5. Let's move over to the West. Who you got?
Okay. Got to give it to Donovan Mitchell.
Is he your number 1? Is he 1 for you?
I'm gonna try to go in numerical order. Yeah, let's go 1 with him.
Mitchell, okay.
CJ McCollum.
Okay.
Workhorse, love him. Devin Booker.
Okay.
Buddy Hield.
Okay.
Love his work. And one of my faves, I got to put him in there. Victor Oladipo.
Okay. He's with the West right now. Victor Oladipo is a good player.
I just like him, man. I love how he gets down.
I believe he's a very underrated player that really gets up quite a bit.
Very underrated. Very underrated, man.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't mind him with the Knicks, but yeah.
you want everybody to go to the Knicks, man.
You know it.
I got you. Well, starting with the West, number one is Paul George. Actually, Paul George actually have him at shooting guard because they have Paul playing small forward. So they actually have Paul George listed as actual shooting. I was surprised when I was looking. I said, "Wow, they got him at a shooting." Like,
yeah. PG gets big props, man. As he said, didn't mean to cut you off. Where was all this in my first 10 years? Y'all going on what happened, last postseason. Great set of skills, man. Met the brother about 4 or 5 years ago in Vegas. Awesome dude.
Yeah. My 2 is Booker. I think Booker's number 2 as far as shooting guard is concerned. Booker's a phenomenal player with the Phoenix Sun. Guy, you're producing, walking, scoring machine. Donovan Mitchell, it's arguable. The argument between my 2, 3, and 4 players. To me, you can interchange these 3 guys. Booker had Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell, and C.J. McCollum. McCollum, man, it really he showed in the ball. Those guys with Portland, that backcourt is a phenomenal backcourt that you actually have to keep your eye on with that guy. And to me, man, as an argument, man, with my 5th guy is Buddy with the Sacramento Kings. But the guy we're leaving out, he's been hurt these past 2 years. And only because he's been hurt that we're not even talking about. That's that killer assassin who said right side Klay Thompson.
Oh yeah, if Klay was back, it'd be over with, man. His body of work speaks for itself.
That's the only reason why I don't have Klay in my top 5 because he's hurt. So I'm only looking at players who actually are currently playing, and so that's my thing. Other than that, Klay Thompson would have definitely been in there, but I love Buddy, man. Yeah. I believe that he get overlooked quite a bit. I love his game. I like it. To me, him and Darren Fox is a great combo, and they are up and coming team. You can't look past it, but I think it starts with him and Fox. But that 2 backcourt is a squad that you cannot overlook. Like I said, C.J. McCollum, phenomenal backcourt, and if you really look at even Booker. The guys I named off that really have a number 2 guy as far as at the point guard. Steph with Klay, Fox with Buddy. You got C.J. McCollum, and now you also have Donovan Mitchell. All these guys have a nucleus. Only one is PG. But the guy who played that phenomenal defense for the Clippers, so it balances their team out. And so that's why I put him at that position. So to let you guys for chiming in. Definitely post your comment. We'd love to read your comments on our show.
Sure. I'm sure some guys got some other top 5s or however they want to do it. I see we got similar looks when we look for talent.
Right.
I just love the guys that can get up and get it. No excuses. Let's go. They've proven it. They've stepped up.
Right. And like I said, it's called putting the biscuit in the basket. And my thing is that they do more than scoring. To me, they take a leadership role as far as, saying the right things to their players because of the fact that they want to ensure that, they're playing as a unit. And that's the thing I love about these players that we named off. And it's going to definitely be interesting, once we go through the East and West, then we decide league-wise how we rank them. And we'll probably end up doing that next week as we get into that debate. Who we view as, top 5 or whatnot. But that's going to be an interesting conversation.
Sounds good.
So, okay. Now we're going to move on to our next topic that we're going to talk about. And you can hit this up. And I know you said Karl Malone made a comment about Zion.
Oh, my goodness, man. Karl, relax, Karl. Stop it. Karl Malone said that Zion should be playing 40 minutes a game. He's 21. There's no way he should be tired. I don't even know where this came from. And my first thought is, why, Carl? Why?
So you disagree
What?
with Carl?
I don't think Karl Malone is the guy to say that.
Why not?
And look, I'm not going to bring up all Carl's dirt, man. We're not going to go there.
I
But
want to know why do you don't think that his comment was legitimate? That's what I want to hear. Why you disagree with that? That's what I want to hear. We're gonna get into this.
okay, let's do it like this first. Zion's point production and what he's doing on the court is incredible as it is. I mean, what do you want him to do? And he might have said that Zion should be averaging 40, something crazy like that. Like, what else do you want this kid to do? I just don't. People have been complaining about Zion since he was in high school. Oh, he's too heavy. He'll never do that at Duke. He gets busy at Duke. Oh, he's too heavy. He'll never bring that to the NBA. He gets busy in the NBA. Oh, looks like Zion's been having snacks over the COVID. He's not going to be able to bring that same zest and zeal and he's still doing it. That's the issue that I have. Now, the fact that Karl Malone played with Utah Jazz for about 30 years and then jumped to the Lakers so he could try to get a ring, his nemesis, doesn't sit well. Then Kobe got hurt that year and Karl's dreams went down the drain. And now it's time for him to retire. So, man, Karl, your Hall of Fame, workhorse, dream team, got it. Let Zion be Zion.
So that was your okay. To me, I don't have a problem with what Karl Malone said. And to me, this is the reason why. I believe that Zion needs someone to push him to be great. And in order for you to be great, it isn't going to be that person that keep patting you on the back, like, oh, you're doing such an amazing job. It's that person that will challenge you. And to me, I understand what he's saying is that Zion, he's 6'7", 6'8", 285 pounds. And I saw that. You seen that dunk that he did against Sacramento King the other night. So I understand the perspective I think Karl Malone is looking at is the fact that no one is going to stop you. And really the league is really a softer league than when Karl played. It was that league. And back when Karl was playing, he was putting in 35, 40 minutes a game. So I think what he's looking at is that the effort, when he was playing, it seemed like the guys put forth a greater effort. Nowadays, you got guys that want to take, days off. They need time off. No, it's a different mentality when Karl Malone played. When Karl Malone played, he understood that there were 82 games on the schedule. I'm getting paid X amount of number to play, and I know fans are paying this money in order to see me perform on the court. So the mentality was completely different. And so having that mentality, he felt like, and that's why I took from his comment, he's like, hey, I put in the work, I put in the time in order to perform for the fans. So I think he's thinking from a fan's perspective, like, dude, you need to be on the court as much as possible because people who are making far less money than you are paying to see you perform. And that's what I got out of the comment pertaining to him playing. Because you think about even last year when he played, they reduced his minutes. They're even talking about restricting players' minutes when they first come in. These are young kids. They're always playing basketball. So my thing, like, you trying to restrict their minutes? My thing's like, no, it's about winning. And if you really think about it, I don't think the Pelicans did the right thing by firing Gentry. To me, they're not playing better. To me, that was a dumb decision. You fired Gentry for what? You're not improving. That was my thoughts on it.
Okay, well, everybody needs a push. I got one quick question. What is it that Zion's not doing? If he's playing, let's say, 20 to 30 minutes a game, He's dropping 20 plus points. He's getting boards. He's getting blocks. He's giving the people what they want. Money's worth. And that's really my question. I mean, I'm not saying that he should get a attaboy, a pat on the back, and nothing's happening. I just don't see where the kid has disappointed yet. Yeah, he got hurt. Probably cost him Rookie of the Year. And when I said that Karl Malone is not the guy to say that to him, a lot of people are comparing what Karl Malone was doing at 20 and at 20 years old. And, you know, like I said, don't want to bring up something that will hurt people, but Karl Malone at 20 years old was a sophomore in college. He might have been playing real hard, but he also had a child with an underage girl. Zion's doing what he needs to do.
But I think he's looking at more or less on the court versus off the court. And to me, Zion, Zion should be a walking double-double. He's averaging 25 points, but he's only grabbing like 6 or 7 boards. So it's really about where your focus is. And I'll never forget when Charles Barkley was in the league. And Charles Barkley said, I could lead the league. If I wanted to, I'll lead the league in rebounding. He went the very next year, he led the league in rebounding based on his focus changing and shifting. I think he was with the Houston Rockets at that time. So it's all about where your focus. Everyone is about where your focus is. So my thing is that, is your focus all about scoring, or is it, you know, like a point guard? You can lose Lonzo Ball on this squad. I think Lonzo look at more of, okay, for scoring, I'm probably the third option, but my role is to get everyone involved. So to me, I believe he can be he should be a walking double-double. You're 6'7", 285, no one's going to stop you from getting to the basket. But where's your focus? Is your focus on scoring? Is your focus on rebounding? Your focus on the defensive end? So I think that's what he's looking at. Like, where's your energy level as far as on the defensive end of the court versus just focusing on the offensive end? A lot of these new players coming in, they're very offensive minded. Even the league has made it even easier for teams to score. You rarely ever saw people in the NBA putting up 130, 140 points. When Karl Malone played, as you know, it's a softer league. So I think that's where his mentality is coming from.
Okay, so does Zion need to get 4 more rebounds per game so you and Karl can come to an agreement that he's balling hard?
No, I'm not saying that he's not balling hard.
I know.
Where I'm just trying to understand his perspective on it. Whenever someone make a comment, my first thing come in my mind, okay, what are you truthfully trying to say? And I think that's what he's saying. Because like I said, the league has really transitioned from when Karl was playing, where really defense was in, check you, hard fouls. You didn't get thrown out of the game because, hard fouls, that big flop LeBron James did last week with Cousins. I'm just going to say, those guys are playing, you hit it.
The king.
Well, I'm just saying. But that's an example. I think the older guys really have an issue. This is the reason why. We can get in this now. It's up to you. This is the reason why when it comes to the GOAT conversation, I really don't think I don't think Mike is the GOAT, and I don't think LeBron is the GOAT. My thing is that your era, because the style of the game has changed so much, it's drastically changed. They're like, oh, look at his stats. I said, but you're talking about Michael Jordan, he walked away from the game. He walked away from almost pretty much 2 years. He came back and he still dominated. So then you got to also look at it from the perspective of they didn't have the three-point shooting. Now, when you're looking at LeBron, just look at what all he's accomplished. He's been playing in the NBA since he's been out of high school.
Right.
So the game is a softer league. A lot of perimeter playing, they didn't do that. You had the big man involved when those guys were playing. Even you can go back to Wilt Chamberlain day. Those guys really, they didn't have a shot clock. So a lot of things is involved with the transition of the game. So I really don't get into GOAT to me, because if you really look at the GOAT, I look at what a person does on as well as off the court. So,
Okay.
but to me, I look at the era. In this era, to me, LeBron is definitely the GOAT in the era. When Mike was playing, he was the GOAT. And you go on Kareem when he was playing. So I look at the eras. Those guys were great in their particular era. But that's just my perspective. But and that's my thought.
Okay, so there's no GOAT, but LeBron is doing it in his era. So you mentioned eras. I'm gonna slide a name in there. You figure out whether he's in a conversation or not. And the name is gonna be thrown in the air. I'm gonna walk off. I'm gonna address the issue. Then I'm gonna come back. Kevin Durant. Hold that thought. Now, I will agree that the league is softer. You know, I remember watching it in the 80s and 90s.
One question. So
And
are we shifting the question to, are we sticking to the Karl Malone? We just kind of transitioned a little bit. I want to.
I'm back on Karl, but when you say GOAT, and I'm not saying Kevin Durant is the GOAT. I said he's in GOAT conversation. That's all. But Malone has issued out a lot of pain in his career, including giving David Robinson a concussion. And I will say that if Curry was playing in the early 90s, late 80s, I don't think Curry would be going to the hole doing double pump reverse layups without getting tossed into the third row. And I got you on that. It's a different day and age, man. Perimeter shooters. Now you can shoot the three. You got young kids trying to do it. Big men, AD hitting the three. Of course, Kevin Durant. And I get it. It's hard hitting. But it's a new day and age. And
Yes.
you had a lot of brothers back then that were the same size as LeBron, but they wasn't doing LeBron things. I could think of Michael Cage. Just brutal dudes, man, who you just couldn't come in for a layup without, you watched them early Pistons, them bad boy games, the way they used to do Jordan when he was coming in. And, I respect anybody's grind. I think I mentioned that earlier, the grind on some of these players, man, the hard work in the summers, not taking days off. In my day, GOATs didn't do load management. You didn't have to decompress.
Put a pin on that one right there. You said something. And this is the reason why I think Karl Malone made the comment that he made. And it's exactly what you're saying. Karl Malone, like, what is load management? And I think that's why he said what he said. So continue. Please continue with that thought.
Yeah, and you didn't have guys saying, I don't think I'm gonna sit the Olympics out. I'm gonna concentrate on the season. I've heard guys say, I'm not playing the Olympics. I don't know how security is over there. I want to concentrate on the season. No, I'm not going to play in the All-Star game. I want to concentrate on the season. These are things that people would kill for. And some of these guys with these opportunities, I'm going to sit this All-Star game out. Stuff like that was unheard of, man. I don't remember Julius Erving taking load management, taking games off. Well, listen, we need to not play our starters tonight because we want to prep them for the the playoffs. What? When did that happen? But like I said, I will say this. If you're gonna look in my backyard, making sure everything is good, make sure yours is good. Don't throw rocks at my window and you got stained glass windows. That's the only thing. And it's a lot of people on that. Karl Malone, be happy with what you've done. Let Zion be Zion. Can he get more boards? Yes. Should he be a walking double-double? Yes. Let's go.
But I think he's more or less looking at demanding more from Zion. And I think in order for you to be great, to me, you need to be pushed, and I need to demand more from you. In order for whoever's trying to be great, you're going to have to demand a lot from them. And if you really be honest, money had really, really caused a lot of things to change in the game. and the demand isn't there. It's like you don't want to hurt people's feelings and stuff like that. But when you want to be great, the demand, I have to demand more from you. So the question is, if I know if I was Zion Williams and have, I'd be like, okay, got it. I would literally reach out to Karl Malone and ask him, hey, because Karl Malone is recognized as one of the great players ever played a game. And I would have a conversation with him. I'm like, okay, tell me what do you mean by that? Because I don't think that Karl Malone came from a malicious perspective. I think it came from a perspective of he demands more and want more from Zion based upon what he sees. Zion, no one can stop him. This guy is 6'7", 285 that can run.
He's brutal, man. He played bully ball. He bullied ball. He attacked the rim with reckless abandonment the other day. Man, he comes in with authority, man.
Yes.
Things he can do is incredible.
So I don't see it as a negative perspective. I think he's saying, hey, don't allow them to hold you back from being great. Because the talent you have, dude, no one can stop you.
Okay.
And that's just what I'm here.
I got you. And, but my thing is this. Karl could have easily reached out to Zion and say, listen, young fella, I've been watching some things. I got some suggestions and some tidbits. Let's get together, man. I want to show you some things and run some things by you. Instead of getting on Twitter and blasting him out like that, and then if Zion's is receptive to that, or like you said, listen, big sir, thank you for the call. Listen, is it possible we can get together, man? You can, show me some stuff. Let's go over some film. I love your input. I think that's how you could do proper business, man. So I don't agree with Karl saying it, but I agree with the message. That's all. I think the messenger was a little off par.
He could have done it a different way to make sure that Zion received it correctly.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm with you. And prime example, like people want to call Tom Brady the GOAT. And this all have 6 rings, but this is the reason why I do not call Tom Brady the GOAT. Like I said, his era, got it. You talking about era or all time? Because just imagine if Tom Brady had to play against Deacon Jones when a flag was not thrown, when he was kicking players between the legs.
Listen, man, you talking the longest yard. You trying to get Brady killed.
So my thing is, man, dude, it's a different era and time. Just think about it. Joe Montana, he won the fortune, but these guys played in a tough era where it was difficult to survive out there. That's the reason why those guys' careers was so short. But I salute Tom Brady because of how long he's been playing. He's taking care of his body, and he's done the right thing. But the NFL protects the quarterback. You can't even touch the quarterback now without there being flag. It's a softer league. So people want to say, okay, he's the GOAT. Okay, got it. He won how many championships, but also this is a softer league that he's playing in now. Those guys aren't playing. And then the game has transitioned the way it is pass-oriented. When those guys are playing back in the day, they're really focused on running the ball and defensive play. This thing about Dick Butkus and all those guys during the era. Tom Brady would not be playing right now if he played in that era.
Brady, along with a few other quarterbacks, are babied. Let's be real.
Yes.
There's no way that Michael Vick can get broken in pieces and Brady's still walking around at 43. Cam Newton taking late hits, getting his head knocked off, concussion. RG3, leg out of place. Peyton Manning was baby. I mean, we're talking a dude comes back with 4 pins in his neck, and he basically just showed up to the Super Bowl. Like, how hard is it for me to sidestep somebody and just clothesline Peyton Manning as hard as I can and hurt him? Then you got some other people like Alex Smith, Joe Theismann. They get their legs shattered, man. I just think some guys got that favorite, man. They got the refs in their back pocket, man. I don't think I've seen Brady broke down with a dislocated collarbone, man.
I'm with you, bro.
Even Romo used to, take that pain.
I got you, man. And so that's my point. So to me, because Karl Malone played in a different era, and those guys, man, played 70, 80 games, in a season, and they did not take unless they were really hurt. I mean, to where they could not perform.
Yeah.
I believe they had a different mindset that, hey, my job is to perform for the fans. They are paying me to play basketball. And I think that's the reason why he's saying I think Karl Malone believed that Zion is shorting the fans by only playing 26, 27 minutes in a game. And I think that's the perspective. But there's a different way. He could have gone about it a different way and came on and got the
Too easy.
Yeah.
There's plenty of great players who have taken advice from the greats. I heard Kawhi Leonard trained with Kobe Bryant to work on his crossover, to work on his three. Kawhi Leonard game went to a whole nother galaxy, man. Akeem Olajuwon trying to work with certain people, man, to taking them to big man camp. There's ways that you can be receptive, but I just think that when you sit back, and Barkley's famous for that too, and tweet at somebody or put a comment out there versus actually trying to help. And I'm not saying that Karl Malone should show Zion how to play. Nah, not that, because Zion was doing things that Karl Malone wasn't doing.
I got you. Yeah.
Is this not his second? This is his second year.
Second year.
Zion.
Okay. So it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna move to our final topic of the day: the presidential election. Biden is now a new the inauguration. Biden and Harris, president as well as vice president, and Donald Trump as well as Mike Pence have transitioned out. Just kind of want to know your thoughts on the inauguration today, and then once we're done, I want to. I'm not sure we had the opportunity to hear the young lady, the poem that the young lady said today. Was very powerful, and I will play that at the end. I'll close the show out with that poem. I think it was very powerful.
Beautiful. I watched the inauguration, caught most of it. First, I want to give props, and I don't even know if I should give props, for Mike Pence showing up. Now, he was supposed to, so he's basically doing what he was supposed to do anyway. Another party didn't show up. So, hey, a lot of class was out there when Barack and Michelle Obama showed up, holding hands, going down to their seat. Incredible. It was like watching royalty, the poise, the grace, the elegance, their presence. I felt the electricity, man. As was said, Kamala is also mixed with a little bit of Asian as well as Black. And she's the first, and this was huge. She went to a HBCU. I think that's extra important. Howard University. I got on my HBCU hat as well. I don't know if you can see the words. That's Allen University, Columbia, South Carolina. So that's a huge step. People can actually see what can happen if they push themselves to their full potential. I mean, nothing should be out of bounds now, man. All little girls, whether you're Black or you're Asian, you can see what you can do if you do the right things in life. Excellent performance by Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah, this on, man.
Yeah, she brought it, and I love the way Lady Gaga looked over and told Michelle Obama how beautiful she looked. That was incredible. J-Lo's performance, singing, and then she did a little sentence in Spanish. I'm sure racists didn't appreciate that. She did well, and unbelievably as it may sound, I am a Garth Brooks fan. Yes, Garth Brooks came out there and got busy.
Did you? Hey, I love the outfit. Did you see Garth Brooks, that belt?
I
Did you
need that
see
hat.
that belt?
I gotta get that hat. That belt buckle's off the chain. Yeah,
Bruh,
he was
I,
in rare form. That's who he is. And rarely do you see Garth Brooks take his hat off. Rarely.
I,
He first he tipped his hat when he came out.
hey,
Then he sang, and then he took his hat off on the way out. And he's rocking a bald head, looked like almost a total different dude. But it was Garth, man.
yeah,
He's incredible.
yeah. My man Jay Fox doesn't like Phillip Rivers. I see. I wish you would have commented earlier when we were talking about
Calling him that. Okay.
yeah, but you try to keep it PG here. But
It's a family show, man.
my question to you, and for Trump to be here in 4 years, my thing is that it wasn't all negative. So my thing is that what are some positive things that you think he did during the 4 years that he was there? As you watch his face, yeah, I'm gonna make you think a little bit.
He rode on the Air Force One. He said goodbye today, this morning. You're trying to squeeze blood from a rock right now. I'm gonna have to really think on that.
And I'll talk. To me, man, I really believe that he really exposed a lot of things that we in America have to work on. Dealing with, first of all, dealing with hate. We have to learn how. I can have a difference of opinion than you, but being able to hear you is very important if we're going to move together as a unit. Like I said, United States of America. That means we first have to be united in order to be able to move forward to do what's in the best interest of this country. This can't be one side against the other side.
Right.
We have to learn that, one, we have to identify, our sins. This country was built off of the backs of slaves. So being honest enough to have an honest conversation and recognize that, hey, there's a lot of wrong we have done in this country. And there are a lot of good as well as bad things that we have done. This country isn't perfect. And if we can understand that we're not perfect, but we're trying to work on the things that we're not so good at, I believe now what we can do, we can sit down and listen to one another and be able to be a better country. Now, I definitely I watched the inauguration. I thought it was amazing. The way they did it, and like I said, I'm going to play the lady poem that she recited was a very powerful poem that she recited. And so what I'm going to do to close out the show, I'm going to just let her recite a poem, and then I definitely want to get your thoughts on what stood out to you.
Amanda Gorman, 22 years old, Harvard grad.
Yes, amazing.
Dr. Biden, Madam Vice President, Americans, and the world. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. And the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is hours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny Black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew, that even as we hurt, we hoped, that even as we tired, we tried, that we'll forever be tied together, victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the windswept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade of flame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Man. That, my brother, was a powerful message.
Strong and powerful.
Yeah, man. To me, that's what I wanted to end the show with a powerful message to let you guys know, man, we can do better. We unite, work together, and accomplish things which we can see that will make the country better. So, man, you have a parting thoughts, my brother?
Yeah, first of all, everything about that young lady's presence was exuded excellence. From her hair being braided up to the way it was held up high standing, One of my favorite lines is when she opened it up, braved the belly of the beast. I think it's self-explanatory. We've already braved it. And never again will we sow division. We don't need division, man. And you said it earlier. You opened it up with it. You brought the poem, and that brings it full circle, man. We got to do better. We got to get along. We don't have to like each other, but we need to respect each other and listen. That's very important, man. Very important.
All right, family. Thank you for definitely supporting us today. Make sure you subscribe to our page. Definitely need you guys' support. We're going to be doing this again tomorrow. Definitely look forward to you guys. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
We want to welcome you guys. Thank you guys for supporting Military Brothers Talking Sport. Have a nice day.
We out.